President Trump tore into Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelenskyy today after Zelenskyy said the end of war with Russia is still very far away. President Trump writing on Truth Social, "This is the worst statement that could have been made by Zelenskyy, and America will not put up with it for much longer. This guy doesn't want there to be peace as long as he has America's backing and Europe." In the meeting they had with Zelenskyy, stated flatly that they cannot do the job without the U.S. The president today also saying Zelenskyy should be more appreciative of the United States.
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us because, as you know, that's right there. That's the border.
And it turns out the American people back President Trump. A new CBS poll finding a majority approve of President Trump's handling between Russia and Ukraine, 10 points higher than Biden's approval a year ago, and higher than at any point in Biden's presidency. Tiana, we were just talking about this. Yeah. It's like reality TV watching this sort of diplomacy play out in the Oval Office. And the mere fact that Zelenskyy today saying that we're very far away from peace.
And remember, all this started because Zelenskyy did this publicly. It's fine behind closed doors to have requests, although let's be clear, when you are coming asking for our billions of dollars, that's a request. That is not a demand. There were reports back in 2022 that Joe Biden was getting fed up with Zelenskyy's attitude. It was a poor choice, in my opinion, for him to not have been using a translator this entire time, because there's a total cultural disconnect where he doesn't understand. You don't call the vice president JD, you call him Mr. Vice President, the same way he calls you Mr. President. And look, if Europe thinks they can handle this, they can bankroll this, officially, NATO countries are supposed to spend at least 2% of their GDP on defense, and the target is supposed to be 3%, right? There are only 3 countries that do 3%. Us, Poland, Greece, and only 3 more that spend at least 2%. There is no way they can afford this without us.
I mean, Luke, it just shows to me the Europeans, which they barely have arsenal for crying out loud or any sort of military equipment, yet they're bankrolling Ukraine, and they themselves saying, oh, we're going to come up with a peace plan that the U.S. should accept. It makes no sense. It just feels that the Europeans want to expand this war even further.
Well, it's entitlement on behalf of the Europeans that have just gotten used to the United States swooping in and dropping money on any problem that comes up overseas, and we're just simply not going to do that anymore. Zelenskyy needs Donald Trump. Donald Trump does not need Zelenskyy. They need to have peace over there, but as far as Trump's standpoint, he's trying to stop World War III. And it seems as if the Ukrainians' position keeps coming back to making it as if the conflict never happened, reestablishing the borders exactly as they were before the invasion. And as Pete Hegseth said, that's just not grounded in reality.
Making
it's a
them before
non-starter at this point. It's just not grounded in reality right here. We are trying to stop World War III, and I don't want Vladimir Zelenskyy being the Archduke Franz Ferdinand of that potential fight.
Chris, and I mean, this rich mineral deal, which I think would be a huge advantage for Ukraine because it would mean bringing in corporations, investments, building, helping to rebuild Ukraine. How could they not go with this type of agreement?
Well, that's one of the great mysteries of the modern age, I think. And I was talking about it on Friday here, and I said Volodymyr Zelenskyy went into the Oval Office and detonated his diplomatic suicide vest and blew himself all over the interior of the Oval Office. Not very well played by him. It'll go down in history as one of the great botches in international relations in centuries, since electricity has come along. And it's true, we ought to be grateful. And his mother didn't teach him manners. I mean,
or how to dress, for that matter.
That's true, too. But just don't interrupt the President of the United States when you're there. You say request rather than demand. He's damn lucky that he's in the room, and he should be polite.
And the art of understanding the importance of the unspoken and why it must remain unspoken. I want a security guarantee. I want you to say Russia was wrong. He's giving you the security guarantee. That's the point of putting Americans on the ground. That way, if Russia decides to go after you, then all of a sudden, that's you get NATO invoked.
And that's not true. That's the trade deal. That's the minerals, and he's supposed to recognize that. But one of the theories is that Volodymyr Zelenskyy meeting on Capitol Hill with the Democrats, that the Democrats sabotaged the whole thing with Zelenskyy saying, "Go in and blow it up, and we've got your back."
Information. Truth is freedom. is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.